10 months ago, the Commanders ended the Lions season. Today, an opportunity for some payback and to bounce back from last week's loss. Coming up on Lions Game Day Live, we are getting you ready for this battle in the nation's capital. We'll give you 3 things to watch for. Plus, Dan Campbell tells us what to expect from Washington in the coach's scouting report. The head coach also spoke about the team's decision to stand pat at the trade deadline. Danny Rodgers spent some time with defensive lineman Alim McNeill. We sat down with wide receiver Jameson Williams to talk about his work not only on the field, but off the field as well. Jennifer Hammond was with Amon-Ra St. this week as he did some work in the community, and Woody wondered about Isaac TeSlaa's hidden talents.
Fans have heard rumors of your Elmo impersonation. Can you do that for us?
How did they hear about that? I don't even know how they, who brought that up.
It's the Lions and the Commanders from D.C., and we have it for you, starting with Lions Game Day Live right now. Northwest Stadium in Landover, Maryland, just outside the nation's capital, where game day traffic means it's about a 3-hour drive. Just kidding. A little bit later today, it'll be packed. Lions, Commanders coming up here. Week 10 in the National Football League. Good morning, everybody. It's game day, ready to go.
Sunday morning. Something's missing.
Something is missing.
I kind of like it. We got a little more space.
Exactly.
We got so much room for activities.
Talk and dish. So
Sadly, Woj is not with us.
I don't know what game it is.
Today.
I don't know what this game is.
We thought about replacing him for a 4th-round pick.
Well, we'll see how this show goes. He might be a perfect substitute.
So here we go. I mean, look, we're going to talk about it throughout this show, but this is a team that's coming off a performance that was one of the worst that we've seen from a Dan Campbell team since Dan Campbell's team became good. Fair?
Very fair. I think that it was, in the moment, concerning, disturbing, kind of gross as we were watching it live in the booth, Miller. And even going back and rewatching it 2 or 3 times was just so frustrating. And you could go both ways. You're like looking at it like maybe 1 or 2 plays away from winning that game. Also 1 or 2 plays away from getting blown out against that Minnesota game. That's just how it was. It was just off sync. Everything was off sync. Dan Campbell took some of the pressure off the players after the game. He said, look, that's on me. I didn't have the guys ready to go out of the bye week. Whatever he said, maybe preparation. He probably wish you could have done something different. But, yeah, that was a concerning game. But I think that these guys have obviously earned the benefit of the doubt when it comes to responding and finding a way to dig deep and get back on the right page.
I want you to jump in a sec, Will. But when you're in a locker room and you're coming off a loss like that and the coach says it's on me, as a player, you're sitting there going, no, man, that's on us, right?
Yeah, you do. But I think that that's Dan Campbell's way of saying, I'm not putting it all on you guys, right? We could have called a better game. We could have game planned a little bit different. And that's ultimately, I think, when you have the leader, Dan Campbell, at the top, taking the ultimate accountability, that's contagious to the rest of the group, right? Because then other guys around that locker room are going to say, nah, it's not a coach. We could have played better. I could have done this a little better. But I think that's really outstanding leadership from Dan Campbell, and it bleeds down to the rest of that locker room.
Well, in all 3 phases played poorly, and coming off the bye, I think that's why he took the personal responsibility. When defense, offense, and special teams, and the penalties, when it all crumbles like that, a head coach is going to feel like that's on him. But let's just get into it.
We're just going right into it. Hold on, I missed the big game. Where's the big game part question?
We've got a hole on the interior, but Dan's here to steer. And I've got questions for Hemingway over here. Is this wounded offensive line still fixable? And will these rhymes today be less predictable? The Lions have a hole to fill without Mahogany. Have they cultivated depth enough like agronomy? Will the stars align up front like astronomy? Or will they rue standing pat at the deadline? Will they wish they had called someone other than Medline? Will missed opportunity serve as the headline? The next 9 games will give us the answers. Will we see sacks and pressures or touchdown dancers? Starting today against the Commanders, we'll see how the rest of the season meanders. Dan Miller, take it away.
I didn't know where he was going to go with answers.
We've got time to kill, baby. We've got time to kill.
Was I supposed to stop you?
agronomy is? Hang on. The science of soil management and crop production, focusing on how to grow crops efficiently for food, fuel, and fiber.
One might cultivate depth like agronomy. Now, TJ, you've learned something.
You asked me about 7 questions in that poem. I don't know which one to address.
Let's go right down the list.
I don't know which one to address.
All right, let us get to the Figer Law injury report. It started off this week with the Christian Mahogany news. That was the tough one for the Lions right there. Losing the second-year guard, Dan Campbell says, in Dan Campbell speak, going to be gone a long time. And they're hoping maybe by the end of the year that he will be back, but at this point, as we said, they're going to have to shake up that offensive line, put a new guard in there. We anticipate seeing Coyote Awasika. He has started games for them before. They do have some confidence in him, so we will see where this goes from here. Now, the other big story this week was the trade deadline, which you guys will jump in on a second. Lions thought maybe they'd go for an offensive lineman. There was one offensive lineman traded at the trade deadline. That was it. Dan Campbell was asked about it. Big picture brought to you by Macomb County Veteran Services, and as you might expect, Dan Campbell said basically, I'm going to worry about what's right in front of me.
When we make a move, you got to check all the boxes, right? So I can sit there and say, yeah, I like him. He's a solid player. But I told him I don't even want that getting to me if it doesn't make sense from a financial, from a value standpoint, from what we're looking for. Then I don't even want to. So that thing gets filtered, which I appreciate. I don't want to deal with all that until we know we're serious about it. And the rest, then it's it. He checks all the boxes, all right? He checks that box, and then we start watching. We look, the type of person we fit in this locker room, type of player. What does he look like next to this player? Does he elevate this player? Or is it really not, yeah, he's a little better, but is it really worth that for what you're giving up versus the next guy we have ready to go as the backup that's coming off a vet squad? Those most of the time are the ones that we are like, well, no, I don't think so. And we've been pretty good so far. It doesn't mean it's perfect, but that's just how we feel.
Look, I know when it comes to trades, and we saw with the Tigers as well, that the fans get excited. They want something new, something to give them a little bit of hope.
And the Red Wings.
And the Red Wings, there you go as well. Yeah, that was a discussion too, wasn't it? But we kind of know how these guys
would not
operate.
Stand for this. This would be unacceptable.
We know how these guys operate, and they're not ones that take big swings. And honestly, there weren't a lot of offensive linemen, it appears, that were out there for the taking, and that was the one that you thought maybe they'd try to shore up.
Yeah, and I think that Dan Campbell nailed it in a couple interviews that he did this week, is like, well, we're going to give up all these picks for guys that we might have for 10 games. Yeah. Now, we have seen them make a bunch of trades, mostly when it comes down to draft day, right? Hey, we'll move a couple threes. We want to move up and get our guy. But those are guys that you're going out to get for 3-4 years to have contractual rights to for a long time. And, I think the one thing that they have, and Dan said it, and Brad, I think, is on the same page, they have a plan laid out for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years about guys that are currently on this roster, how you're going to have to figure in their salary, who you want to re-sign. Certainly, I know a lot of fans wanted to go out there and get some help, but you could also look at the fact that at some point, I know they said maybe late December, early November, DJ Reed will be coming back. You could look at that as maybe an in-season acquisition. Same with Malcolm Rodriguez, who I think is going to be back at same time. And same thing you could say be said about Miles Frazier, whose practice clock got started this week as well.
Yeah, look, I'll be honest. I thought the opportunity and time was right for them to potentially add an interior offensive lineman just to plug that hole that Mahogany has left. But as you referenced, Dan, we rarely see midseason trades involving offensive linemen. Since 2002, just 8 offensive linemen now have been traded in October or November. It's exceedingly rare to see those guys move because teams have such a hard time finding them. It's even harder to pry them away from teams. So the need was there. I'm not sure the market was.
3 things to watch up next. 3 things we're keeping an eye on in this game against the Commanders you might want to watch as well. That'll give you an indication of how it's going. Brought to you by Michigan First Credit Union. Number 1, Birchie, shut the door.
Yeah, well, the Lions opened the door last week and let the Vikings rush for 142 yards, almost 5 per carry. Very unlike this defense, which has been one of the best against the run for 3 years running. In fact, the Lions have allowed the fewest rushing yards in the NFL since 2023. That's where it starts worked for them on defense. It's where it's always started for them on defense under AG and now under Shep. They have to shut the door today. This Commanders offense does rank 3rd in the NFL in rushing, and it wasn't all Jaden Daniels. Running back Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, the rookie who somehow is known as Bill, is averaging 4.7 yards per carry and leads the NFL in rushing success rate. And Mariota obviously has some ability with his legs as well. For the Lions, it comes down to 3 things: violence, discipline, and all 11 players doing their job. When the Vikings broke through last week, there were breakdowns on the outside of this defense. So everyone today has to be assignment and gap sound.
All right, let's get to number 2, from shut the door to open the door, TJ.
Yeah, a more positive spin on this one, and it's just the opposite. You got to be able to run the ball. Last week, 20 carries, 65 yards. You did have the 1 touchdown there on the 4th and goal run from Montgomery, but just not good enough across
real
the board.
positive.
I didn't like, you know what, last week there was just way too much, I think, hesitation in the backfield from the running backs. It was kind of like, get the ball, let me take a couple cuts and go. Like, just get the ball and go. That's like this carry we see here from Jahmyr Gibbs a couple weeks ago. It's just straight downhill with speed, and you make the defense react to what you want to do. I thought, look, you have to do a much better job of blocking at the second level. That was a big issue last week against Minnesota, as Blake Cashman, I think, just made another tackle. Dan, how many times did we call his name? And the tight ends, I think, have to be a lot better. There was a lot of plays last week against Minnesota where you look at and you say, man, if we could have sealed the backside, or if, you know, Laporta, Brock Wright, that combination that you get on the front side, you could have held on a little bit tighter, finished those blocks. There's a lot of room up there. Washington, the 22nd ranked rush defense. They got some guys too. And now Bobby Wagner, 90 tackles on the year. We know what type of player he is.
Averaging 10 a year.
But if you can cover those guys up, there's going to be a lot of space in that Washington secondary to get some of those big runs going again.
Number 3 things to watch play Lions football. It is a lot of the things that we've been talking about here. It does mean run the ball. It does mean stop the run. And it also means don't make it easy on the opponents. The one thing the Lions did not want to do last week was make it easy on J.J. McCarthy. When Minnesota can run the ball, it's easy on J.J. McCarthy. When you return the first kickoff that Minnesota receives 61 yards and he takes over at the plus 36, makes it easy on J.J. McCarthy. When he gets 3 possessions in plus territory where your guaranteed points are ready and it turns into 17 to their 27, you're making it easier on the opposition. You can't do that. The Lions usually play sound football. Yeah. That's how they win. And one of their 3, if it's the offense, defense, special teams, picks them up. This week, somebody's got to pick them up. Maybe it'll be all 3. But get back to playing the way that you know Dan Campbell teams play. Take a break. Come right back. Much more coming up. We're glad you're with us. It is game day. Lions Commanders coming up a little bit later. You'll see it right here on Fox 2.
I'm Amon-Ra St. Brown, and you're watching Lions Gameday live on Fox 2 Detroit.
Amon-Ra, part of an offense that was not happy with the way that things went last week. And honestly, over the last 3 weeks, they're going to tell you that they left some things out on the field. But it's been up and down, because if you go back beyond that, it led the NFL in scoring. So you go from leading the league in scoring to, hey, what's wrong with you guys? And Jared Goff talked about that roller coaster ride.
Every one of us has our hand in it, and getting a little bit better every week, trying to solve those issues. And I think a season, there's ebbs and flows. It comes and goes. You fight adversity, you get over adversity. A few weeks ago, we were the greatest thing, since sliced bread. And now we are a horrible offense apparently. So it's, it comes and goes, and we try to get better. We try to fix it. Certainly, we have our things to fix in this game, and even I can go back a few weeks where there's been things that we need to get better at. So yeah, it's not missing us. That we know that we're not naive to it and plan to get things fixed.
All right, that brings us to our quarterback comparison, brought to you by Wallside Windows. Birchie, Goff, Mariota, go.
Oh my God, the pressure. Woj,
Careful.
Woj, watch and learn. And speaking of pressure, the Lions have to lessen the pressure on Goff today. Sacked 5 times last week, tied for a career high in his Lions tenure. Pressured a season high 18 times most of this season. Still produced really well, almost 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. But it wasn't pretty against that Vikings aggressive, exotic defense. And his last game against this Commanders team is obviously one he'd rather forget. 3 interceptions and 4 turnovers in that tragic playoff loss. But this Washington defense can be had. Missing Marshawn Lattimore, they're allowing the 3rd highest passer rating in the NFL and the most yards per pass in the NFL. I'd be remiss not to mention, without Wojo here, that Michigan man Mikey Sainristil is still an asset for them in the back end. But if Goff has time today, he should be able to slice and dice against the secondary. And TJ just wants to talk about Marcus Mariota. He's been dying to do it all game long. I will say this, before you jump in, the general structure of this Washington offense might not change much with Mariota, but the function will. We'll see a lot more read option today with Mariota in there, and he has the physicality and the presence and the power to run through you, Dan. Like, he's not looking to slide. He wants to take defenders on. So this Lions run defense is going to have to kind of bow their necks today and get back to who they are. But if you can force him to beat you with his arm, he won't make many throws like that. More often than not, he'll give you a chance to make plays on the ball. So I like this Lions secondary to really feast today, assuming that Hutchinson, Muhammad, and McNeill can get after this offensive line up front.
Got a lot of experience, won playoff games. I mean, this isn't a guy that just kind of fell off the truck. Good player. We'll see what happens, and he's going to be ready for this opportunity.
For a reason. And as you said, this is a no-nonsense business trip game. Go down there and beat a vulnerable, beatable quarterback on the road.
Do what Dan Campbell teams do, which is handle your business. Much more coming up. We're handling our business right now. It is the Lions and Commanders coming up later on Fox 2. Week 10, Lions looking for a bounce-back victory. How many games since they lost 2 in a row, Birchie?
648.
52. All right, time now for the Coach's Scouting Report. TJ, brought to you by
the Eastern Michigan University.
Take it away. All right, Coach, looking for a bounce back here. And I guess the good thing is, when you look at your team and they look at themselves, they've got the ability to do it themselves. They don't need the help. They know they can get it done.
Yeah, for sure, man. We got the right guys here. We go back to work. We clean up what we need to clean up, and we go on the road and find a way to get a win.
All right, let's talk about Washington. They're going to make a change at quarterback, obviously, with the injury situation. Marcus Mariota takes over. We're going to see him going to Deebo Samuel here. You know Samuel well as well, but Mariota's a guy who's played a lot of games and a lot of snaps in this league.
He has. He's banked a lot of hours. He's seen a lot of different schemes, pressures, coverages, all of it. So here they go, a little change pressure dropping. But this is Deebo. This is very double move. It's kind of looks like you're running a choice route takeoff. And look, this guy can throw. He's a good athlete. He can run, and we know what Deebo can do there on the perimeter.
You mentioned his ability to run. I feel like we've seen this a lot this year, and we're going to see it again this week. He will tuck it and go if you're not careful.
He will tuck it and run. They do a lot of read-run stuff with him, too. You got the back in there, he'll read it. If the end closes, he takes off. He's a dynamic athlete, but here you go. They're just bringing 4. Everybody, man coverage, this is where you got to be. You got to be careful. Man, everybody's back's turned to the quarterback, and he fills the lane. He takes off, and that's what he does here.
I guess the good thing is you've seen this a lot this year. You guys should be ready for this. It feels like weekly almost.
We have. We've seen a lot of it, and we're going to get good work this week. It looks doing just like this with Mariota.
I know you've talked this week about getting the ground game going, and Daron Payne is a guy you're going to have to deal with in that regard. In the middle of that line, big dude, well over 300 pounds.
Yep. This is him, 94 in here, man. He is strong. He's powerful, plays with leverage, and when he does it right, it's as good as anybody here. And we're just talking about the run game. He can get an edge in the pass game, too. He's a good interior D lineman.
You saw Bobby Wagner coming up and helping out in that play as well. Let's take a look at him. 35 years old. He's averaging 10 tackles a game. He's got 90 so far this year.
Yep. He's a bloodhound. I mean, he finds the football, always has. He's smart. He's instinctive. He doesn't run like he used to, but he's always one step ahead because he can anticipate, and he's got to. So he does that, but he can sniff it out and find it, and he kind of really is the bell cow for this defense. He gets everything set up and gets those guys all on the same page.
Hey, Coach, just big picture, clean football, always important on the road, and in particular in a game like this where you got a team that's struggling struggling a little bit. Your mistakes can give them confidence. You don't want to do that.
That's exactly right. We got to play clean football, man. We got to clean our stuff up, take care of it. We got to find a way to get takeaways. You can't give them any confidence. And by the way, we just came off a loss, so we got to clean our own stuff up and get our confidence back. And it's the best way to do it is go on the road and get a win.
All right, one of the ways to get a win is to keep the pressure on that quarterback. One of the ways to keep the pressure on that quarterback, unleash Alim McNeill. Let him do what he does in the middle. Yeah, absolutely. Danny Rogers had a chance to catch up with him.
Alim McNeill, you made your season debut off of an ACL rehab journey for the last year against the Tampa Bay Bucs on Monday night. One of the best defensive performances we've seen maybe out of the Dan Campbell era here in Detroit. And then the following game, Minnesota puts up 27 points. How do you reconcile two very different performances from your side of the ball?
I know it's cliche, but everything is always in the details. And individually, I had to be more detailed, more on my game. And as a team, as a defense, we just got to be a little more locked in than what we were. I'm not saying that we weren't locked in. It's just you got to be extra locked in, that much more locked in for a division rival like that, for one.
Last time you got to a quarterback, almost a year ago, November 10th to the day. It's been a long journey. You're about due, but taking a look at the last year, you've been so positive about getting back to the football field. How do you possibly keep that mindset going over what you had to endure?
Complaining is not going to do anything. And I learned that later, and like throughout college, I learned that. Because I used to complain. I had my first share complain. I still do. But it just doesn't change anything. And I knew I had to come back for my own mental sake. And to prove everybody wrong that thought I wasn't going to come back or may not have come back the same and stuff like that.
When you got back, it's not like you could have gone to the D-line room and said, hey guys, thanks for holding down the fort, because a lot of the guys went with you to IR. DJ Reader was the one standing, but now you've got you, DJ, and the young buck, Tyleek Williams, in that room. That's a pretty good core.
Absolutely.
What is that group capable of?
A lot. And it's not just him. It's not just us either. We have a lot. Levi's still on his way back. And then obviously you got Hutch in there. Davenport's on his way back. So Pascal is starting way back in. So a lot that room has a lot of potential. And we're gonna live up to it. That's for sure. Everybody in there has a correct mindset. So
I don't know if this is a good thing, but you didn't experience the playoff loss on the field directly from the Commanders last year.
Right.
Do you still have some kind of revenge on your mind though going into this weekend?
Yeah, absolutely. I might not have been there, but I'm still on the team, so I felt that just like everybody else did. And yeah, I mean 1,000%. We're gonna go out there and play our brand of football, but yeah, we're thinking about that. Absolutely.
We want to talk about a midseason acquisition. That's one right there.
That's the biggest one you could possibly make. And he was obviously dominant as a pass rusher in his return, but we've yet to really feel his impact against the run as a run stuffer. And that's what he considers himself first and foremost. He told me this past week that the sacks get you paid, but the run game gets you. It doesn't rhyme. Don't worry. The run game gets you respect. Taking on those double teams on the inside, not complaining about it, and still making plays, dirty plays in the trenches against the run. That's what gets you respect in the NFL as a D tackle. And Alim is ready to get back into that run game. He considers that his bread and butter.
Yeah, and he's still getting his feet under him a little bit. Let's not forget, it's been a long time. I think he had 30-something snaps against Tampa. The full game against Minnesota. He's going to keep it better.
Running the ball lets you puff your chest out. Taking away their ability to run takes their wind out of their sails.
And Calvin Shepard said it too. Like a lot of these D tackles in this scheme, you're not going to get the stats, but your teammates are going to appreciate what you do.
No doubt about it. We'll take a break. We'll come right back. Much more coming up. Had a chance to sit down with J-Mo. That's on the other side.
You don't want to stick around for that.
Absolutely. Always fun to talk with him. It's coming up next. Time now for the Big Cat of the Week, brought to you by Pet Supplies Plus. In last week's loss to Minnesota, tight end Sam Laporta caught 6 passes for 97 yards and a pretty impressive 40-yard catch and run on the Lions' opening drive of the game. Laporta now has 3 touchdowns on the year, and his performance against the Vikings makes him your Pet Supplies Plus Big Cat of the Week.
I'm Brian Branch. You are watching Lions Gameday live on Fox 2 Detroit.
Really good against Minnesota to see J-Mo getting the football in his hands and have a chance to get back out there and make some plays. Yeah, no doubt about it. And we talked about that and talked about the fact that these coaches came back from the bye and said they needed to get him the ball more. And I asked him how much that meant to him. And that was our Sunday sit-down as I had a chance to talk to him, brought to you by the DTE Foundation.
it means a lot from the coaching staff to see that and see the opportunity that we have when the ball gets in my hands and the opportunity other people have, you know, on the team when the whole offense is involved. So, you know, it means a lot to me seeing that because, you know, from that week I got more targets and everything is increased. We just got to keep it going.
What I think stood out to a lot of people was the way you handled it when you weren't getting the ball for those weeks.
Sure.
Took a ton of maturity for you to just keep your head down, keep doing what they were asking you to do. How tough was that for you during that time?
I don't really look at things like that and let things like that get me down. You know, it's people living way harder than me, and, you know, I can't let me not getting the ball or targets bring my joy down. You know, I'm a happy person. I live happy. You know, I got people that make me happy in my life. So, you know, the game is something I love, but I can't be selfish and take away other people's joy by, you know, putting the center of attention on me by pouting and things like that. You know, it's a team sport, and I love the team that I play for, and I love my brothers that I go out there and go to war for. And, you know, it's just something I just had to stay level-headed with and, you know, keep grinding. My dad, he always told me to outwork everybody. You know, I just kept working, and I know it'll come to me sooner or later. So.
Here's one thing that jumps out at me. Is I don't know if that's the same guy that walked in the door when you got drafted. Yeah. And I know you talk about the impact that Teddy had on you, and you talk about your dad as well. Are those lessons learned in life that allows you to handle situations like that?
Yeah, for sure. You know, you come across a lot of people, like you said, Teddy. We met about 2 or 3 years ago. We've been close ever since. My dad, he's been a mentor for me my whole life, and been every situation I can go to him and talk to him about anything and whatever, and he's going to give me good input back. And, you know, we're going to handle the things moving forward by, you know, communicating. Teddy, he helped me on a whole nother level. I can't even explain everything he's done for me just inside of this building. You know, it's worked for me a lot, and he just, man, I just look at him. I feel like I owe Teddy by how much he helped me, you know. But I just look at him as a big brother, and with me saying I owe him, he feel like I don't owe him nothing. It's just what he do. So, you know, I just had to grow up and mature, and, you know, life moves on every day. You know, you get older and older, and, you know, you just mature as days go on.
So I see you out, Halloween event recently that you held with kids. I see you getting involved with kids all the time, and it kind of dawns on me, you can be their Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the interactions you have with them, they will never forget that the rest of their life. Do you see it that way?
Yeah, that's how I look at it. You know, me growing up in St. Louis, I didn't really have that person in the NFL or in any type of lane coming back and showing us hope. You know, we just had, our hope was our dreams growing up, and people my age, we really just had dreams, a lot of dreams, and, you know, just had to work to achieve your dreams. So I just take me going into the community as a big thing, because just people seeing my face or just seeing me doing certain stuff is like, it could be life-changing to them, because I know certain people don't have the best lifestyle growing up. Certain people don't live the best way. Some people can't eat. Some people have to find their next meal, things like that. And, you know, I just want to be motivation to whoever needs it. I know I needed motivation, but I had a motivator. My dad, you know, he always had me motivated, and I just want to show them I'm just like them, man. I could be a motivator. I don't want you to look at it like you got to live this way because that's what you see, or, you know, you could be an inspiration just how I am, and, you know, it don't take that much. It just take hard work.
And a lot of that is just the growth of J-Mo as a person.
No doubt. And he came to life last week, which was great to see. When he caught that pass in the third quarter, there was a roar from the crowd that sounded more like relief. I think he's going to have a big day today. This Commanders defense has allowed the most 20-plus yard passing plays and the most 40-plus yard passing plays in the NFL. I think a Waymo goes off today. 7 seconds long.
Yeah, that was about 8 seconds long.
I gave him 10.
Sorry, you like to throw me on the clock.
17.
Everybody.
Hey, Woody Wonders this week is with Isaac TeSlaa, brought to you by Bill Brown Ford. Where's this going to go?
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows?
Thanks a lot, Dan. This week I'm wondering about talent, and here I have Hillsdale's own Isaac TeSlaa. How you doing, Isaac?
Good. How are you?
I am fantastic. Do me a favor. Fans have heard rumors of your Elmo impersonation. Can you do that for us?
How did they hear about that? I don't even know how they, like, who brought that up? That's crazy.
That is crazy, isn't it? You can also whistle with your hands. How do you figure it out to do that?
I don't know. I have a lot of strange things I can do, so
That's my next question. What other kind of hidden skills do you have?
I mean, I can do a dog whistle, but that wouldn't be picked up on the mic here.
Oh.
I mean, I can whistle with all my fingers. If the like a water drop.
If the Lions had a talent show, what would your act be?
That's tough. I got a lot of like little things, but I don't know how I could like put together a whole production.
I see. Okay, you're full of surprises. What's the one thing about Detroit that has surprised you in a good way?
I'd say the love from the fans. I knew, obviously, being a fan, that we got a lot of love for the team, but even out and about, just so many people coming up to me and just the amount of love.
That is cool. You know what? I also heard you have a bottle cap collection, or you used to have one. What kind of caps and how many?
I stopped doing that a while ago, but when I was younger, for some reason, I just started collecting them. I had like a whole bin full of just bottle caps, and I would just find them. And for some reason, I just thought I wanted to keep them, so I had a whole collection, just like beer and pop and a bunch of other stuff.
I know what you're thinking. How does he know all that? Yeah. It's my job to know that.
That's right.
It's my job. Anyway, let's try and bottle up Washington this week. I'll throw it back to you, Dan.
Hey, TJ, quick thought, unlike some people. Only so many footballs, but they did say they want to get him more involved.
Yeah, I know. I mean, this is a week after they said that they want to get Jameson back involved more. So I don't think this offense is running efficient enough when you're trying to focus on one guy. Obviously, if you're trying to build an offense, you're going to try to get Amon-Ra on the ball as much as you can. But, yeah, Isaac has shown a bunch of talent. I mean, he's a run blocker, which we know is a requirement to play wide receiver under a Dan Campbell offense. He has proven that he can do that. But, yeah, I wouldn't mind to see them take advantage of his length and his speed and size, preferably down in the red zone. Yeah. You get down inside that 20, 30-yard line, man, you get a one-on-one with Isaac TeSlaa. Wouldn't mind to see some of those 50-50 balls thrown his way, because he has shown in the limited targets that he's had, he can make some great catches.
Hey, that was quick for him.
That was.
Look at that. Bro, buddy.
By his standard, that was 7 seconds.
That was a calendar. I'll take a break.
You timed me before. Never gone over.
No, sometimes it's more enjoyable than others when you have to go back and relive that previous game. We have to do that now.
You got to do it again.
It is the Vikings game, and this is brought to you by your Southeast Michigan Ford dealers.
There was a couple good ones in there.
Yeah, couple.
What's the story all about? We're going to come out here and show it.
Throwing, got the man. Touchdown, Detroit Lions.
Close it out.
Can you smell it?
Ah, smells good. Good job up front, man. Holy crap. 1, 2, 3, pistol.
So here come the Lions back off their bye. There are 10 games left in this season. All of their hopes, all of their dreams are within view and right in front of them. Jared's got it, wants to throw on 4th down, does. Middle, got it complete. Laporta, 20. Laporta, 15. Spinning at the 10. Fighting at the 5. Still going at the 3. To the 2. To the 1. To the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. Sam Laporta giving out rides for free. McCarthy takes, rolls to his right. Looking downfield to the end zone and throws wide open. TJ Hawkinson, touchdown. On 3rd down, McCarthy steps into a throw. It is in and out of the hands of his intended receiver. Lions are claiming they came up with it. Terry and Arnold had simultaneous possession.
The ruling on the field is an interception by Detroit.
There it is. Interception, Detroit Lions football. The first career interception for Terry and Arnold. They toss it to Montgomery, who bobbles it. It's got a blocker out to the 10 to the 15. Oh, he lost the football. It's free on the ground, and the Vikings pick it up. McCarthy back, looking, flushed out to his right. Rolling, still looking. He's got room to the end zone. Touchdown, Vikings. J.J. McCarthy made it happen with his legs that time. Back off, lofting left side. Once Jamo inside the 10. Makes the grab into the end zone. Did he score?
The ruling has been changed to a touchdown.
Yes, there it is. So it is a touchdown. McCarthy leans in on 3rd down. He's got it. He wants to throw. McCarthy back. Throws right side. It is for Naylor. It is caught. It's a 1st down at the 45-yard line. And the Lions now are going to watch that clock run, and there's nothing they can do about it with only 1 timeout left.
We did everything we needed to do to lose that game. We made every critical error you needed to at the right time to lose it. Perfect storm.
All right, there it is, going back to last week. We'll hope it's a more upbeat edition.
It will be. I think that would be advised.
They don't lose back-to-back.
No, they don't do that.
Don't.
52
Not
games.
allowed.
Not since October 30th, 2022. My favorite stat. Hey,
longest streak in franchise history.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, no other team in the league is close.
Facts here on Game Day.
Tis the season where guys are in the community getting involved. We saw J-Mo earlier. Amon-Ra was out this week as well. Hammer's got that story when we come back. Time now for Lions Trivia, brought to you by Sod Meats. Detroit has won 6 of the last 8 meetings with Washington, but they have had trouble beating them on the road. How many times have the Lions defeated Washington away from home in their history? Is it 3, 2, or just once? The answer is coming up. Here's the answer to the Lions trivia question, brought to you by Sod Meats. Detroit has had recent success against Washington, winning 6 of their last 8 meetings and 16 times overall. They have beaten them only once outside of Detroit. That was during the 2013 season. All right, so
that was my other guess.
There you go.
Dang it.
Amon-Ra St. Brown out in the community doing work this week. Hammer was out there as well. Take a look.
You know, guys, if you know anything about Amon-Ra St. Brown, you know his story, the 112th overall pick in the 4th round by the Lions in 2021. He's now worked his way up to be one of the top receivers in the league, currently ranking 6th in receiving yards at 635 and 2nd in touchdowns with 7. Now the Lions' reliable pass catcher is extending his skill set to students in Detroit with his newly created St. Brown Foundation.
To be able to give back to the city that's given me so much, it means a lot because, you know, I'm from Southern California, but I've been here for the past 5 years now, and this is like my second home. And so to give back to the kids of Detroit, it means a lot, and I can't wait to get this whole thing going.
Earlier this week, the St. Brown Foundation hosted its first Strike for Literacy event, a night of bowling and golf in downtown Detroit to help raise money to buy books and supplies for students in the Motor City and help cultivate their love for reading.
As a kid growing up, for me, I understood, you know, my parents were super tough on me in the classroom. So obviously football is a big part of my life, but as a kid growing up, it wasn't just sports. It was sports and academics. Not everyone's going to be in the NFL, not everyone's going to play sports, so whether you want to be a pilot, a doctor, a teacher, whatever you want to be, the foundation starts with school. And this foundation is really just to help the kids and give them whatever they need to be successful.
Athletically gifted from a young age, St. Brown admits his passion for reading came later in life and credits his German-born mother, Miriam, for giving he and his brothers the push they needed.
My mom's from Germany, so she only speaks German to me. I'm only, you know, growing up, German was like my first language. Going to school every morning, she would make us read 10 minutes of a German book. And so it was me and my 2 brothers, and I was the first one to get dropped off. So I'd grab the book first, I'd start reading, boom, out loud too, so she can hear it.
What does it mean to you to see them want to give back to the community?
It makes me happy, you know. I mean, to hear how they love kids, and I mean, they do football camps now. They have the foundation. It's very it makes me proud.
Amon-Ra said he's grateful for the path he's taken and the platform he's been given to share the importance of literacy. And much like he is on the field, he plans to show up and be hands-on with his new foundation.
I already partnered with Rhymes with Reasons, and so I plan on, you know, showing up to school, being with kids, just spending time with them, talking to them, and obviously we're going to have other, you know, surprise events planned.
And St. Brown is the type of player who doesn't just talk the talk. He is notoriously hard on himself, and you can bet that he's going to be hungrier than ever to put on a better performance after last week's loss to the Vikings when he caught just 9 of his 13 targets for 97 yards. Guys.
All right, Hammer, thank you very much. Always good to see those guys out there. And so many of these players get involved, and the impact that it has on young people is one they will remember for a long, long time.
You know how I know that Amon-Ra is a pillar in this community? Because my 2-year-old son was dressed for him as Halloween, and every house we went to, there was no limit on the candy handouts. They were like, Amon-Ra, take as much as you want.
See how many you can
take
catch.
it all.
Can you catch it?
202 pieces. Take it all.
Go long.
Yeah.
Here's a full-size Snickers. All right, we'll take a break. Come right back. Picks are next.
Ooh, yuck.
All right, time now for the odds makers.
Hey, it was a strike, by the way. It was a strike.
Did you throw out a first pitch?
Matthew Boyd was the catcher on that, and he told me it was right over the edge of the plate. So
Brought to you by Big B Coffee.
Nice.
I want to talk about this.
2016-ish, I want to say.
Brought to you by Big B Coffee.
Breaking ball?
All right, today's
I have no
game.
heaters. I don't have any heaters.
Lions at Washington. Lions favored by 7.5. The current line there. It was a big number last week against the Vikings, and that didn't work out too well. First pitches are hard, man. Was your heart beating?
Yeah, but I was more upset that they told me I couldn't stand on the mound because I couldn't mess it up for the actual pitcher. So I had to throw it from about 56 feet.
And you're tuned.
You're
more
66.
I played baseball throughout high school.
You would have been in there digging his studs into the mound.
It probably clocked at about 43 miles an hour.
Nice.
The old Ethos.
All right, Woj's picking the Lions.
Got close.
Jen is picking the Lions. What are you doing? 7.5.
Boy.
Big boy.
You know what? I got to go with Washington here. I think the Lions still win the game, but I think it's going to be a battle going on the road. Washington's a desperate team. Mariota can cause some issues with his running ability, and until I see some adjustments that this offense can make, not only in the run game but in the protection game as well, and picking up some of the pressures, I think it's going to be probably.
You have 10 seconds because you won't shut up.
I'll say this.
You'll say more. You'll say more.
You have 5 seconds.
31-27.
I think the Lions win. I think they feel the effect of no mahogany. I think the Commanders cover. That's
what I was trying to say. That's what
Much more efficient. Hey, enjoy your Sunday. Thanks for making us a part of it. Ravens, Vikings at 1. Lions, Commanders, 4:25. Full hours.
Show me how to hold a 4-seamer,
Do you guys ever shut up?
How do you hold a 4-seamer?
Just like that,
No,
baby.
that is not.
Yes, it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a 2-seam. This is a 2-seam.
You're wrong.
You show me
You're wrong.